All right, so if you've checked your homework from yesterday, there they are. Hopefully you did okay with that. There's another one, number 23. I think we stopped at, did we do 23? I think so, so. I'm just interested to see a couple of you looking, so that's good. The assessment next Friday will be a couple of these and also some factoring as we start working on finding all the parts of a parabola. Okay, so today some real easy notes. This is it. This is going to be our only page of notes today. Adding a couple more pieces to our parts that we find of a parabola. So we're just going to add a few more pieces to the puzzle here, and they are as follows. Maximum and minimum. A minimum is going to be your y equals at the vertex. So whatever your k value is at the vertex will be your minimum. Notice this is a parabola. It opens up. It's happy. Okay? And all my y values have to go this way, don't they? Okay, so, and this is the lowest. That's why it's a minimum. It is the lowest y value. So that is a minimum. On the other side of the coin is the highest y value, which would be right here, because all the rest of the y values are below this. So that would be a maximum, and whatever that is, y equals k. Now, we've been finding the vertex already, so it's nothing really new. We're just going to say, hey, we got a max and a min. Does that make sense, everybody? We've already been finding this vertex. How do we find that y value? Well, we take the axis of symmetry, x equal value, plug it into the function, and get your output y, right? So we've been doing that already. So that's another thing we're going to find in the parabola. We're going to say, is it a max or a min? And you just want the y value at that spot. The other is domain and range. Those are familiar things to us too, aren't they? Now, domain is your x's. Now, the cool part about domain is it's the same whether it opens up or down. And it's also very easy. It's all of the real numbers. There are no numbers that are eliminated on a parabola for the domain. All the real numbers all the time. The second part is our range. Our range is my y. So if this parabola opens up, my y values are going to start at this k and do what? Be what? Greater than or equal to. So all my range is going to be y such that it has to be greater than k. If I have a max and I go down, now I'm looking at less than, or all my y's have to be less than that k value. So everything circles around k. Circle k, get it? Yeah. There we go. K is our y value for our max and min. K also helps us determine what is the range of our parabola. That's all. That's it for today. Let's practice a couple. They sound good? We're going to practice a couple? A couple people still jotting notes. I'll give you a second. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Get outside, enjoy. I will not be here on Monday because I am going to be outside enjoying.
My birthday's on Sunday.
Your birthday's on Sunday? All right.
I don't think anybody asked for it.
You know, I don't even think I asked for your opinion afterwards, huh?
Oh,
That is very true.
get the claws out.
What?
Because fuck yeah.
All right, here we go.
Pay attention to what she said.
We are going to find all the parts of this, just like we've been. I know the directions say max and min, but we're going to do it all. Okay? So from yesterday, letter A. What was letter A yesterday? Up or down? Is he happy parabola or is he sad parabola? He's happy. Okay, this guy opens up. Keep going. Go, your turn. Find the rest of them from yesterday, if you remember. What was B? Axis of symmetry. X equals negative B over 2A. Find it.
Do you?
Haley?
Yeah.
So we got neggy. So we're gonna end up with 6 on top. We're gonna end up with the deuce on the bottom. So our axis of symmetry is 3. I'm gonna start my graph. This was letter E, wasn't it? Remember from yesterday? And we say 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna make that my axis of symmetry. It is my dotted line. I'm gonna label x equals 3. On the assessment, I'll be looking for labels and points. As I went through homework today of the classes before you, a lot of people aren't doing that, so see to it that you do. I'm not taking off on homework. I'm more concerned about when you do the assessment. Now, A, B, my C. What is my C? What am I finding for C? My vertex. Well, hey, I already have half of it, don't I? I already have half the vertex. So I'm going to plug 3 in. I'm going to find f of 3. What's 3 squared gives me? 9. Minus 18 will give me negative 9 plus 3 gives me negative 6. Does everybody see where I'm getting at? Negative 6. Let's go ahead and plot that guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is my vertex. Make sure we label positive 3, negative 6. A, B, C, D. We're ready for part D from yesterday, which is our y-intercept. Always 0 and whatever C is. Well, what's C here? 3. Remember, A and your B and your C. So 0, 3. Let's get back to this guy. 1, 2, 3. 0, 3. We have a pretty cool symmetrical point right here. I haven't said I'm going to make you find that, but you've been getting better at it, or you're finding it. Anybody want to take a shot what that's going to be?
No, it's 5 3.
I messed up. Needs to be one more, I think. I'm fixing it. So we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think it's going to be right in here.
6.
It is 6, 3. So, coming down and going back up, and there you have A, B, C, D. Now, what did we find today? What did we add today? Well, we're going to add F. What is F? Max or minimum? What is it? Let's open up. So this bottom spot is what? It's a minimum. And it has y equals what? Negative 6. That's what we added today, didn't we? We also added what? Letter G, which is domain and range. Domain x such that x equals what? All reals. You can write that in many different ways. You can say element of the reals, which is a little quicker what your book did. You can write it like that, but make sure you're writing D, X such that. Range. Y such that. Y needs to be what? Opens up, needs to be greater than or equal to negative 6. And there's some more pieces, parts of a parabola. We're real close, but there's one more part we're going to find over the next couple days, and that's these guys right here. That is the y-intercept here. These are the x-intercepts. How do we find those? We find them by by factoring, by factor. Sometimes I say the F word, factor.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm making a video for you. All right, does everybody feel okay about finding those extra pieces parts? Let's try one more, and then now I'm gonna turn you loose on some homely work. Oops, that is the one I want. All right, here we go. Find all the parts. See how far you get on me. Up, down, what is going on here? Yeah, he's happy, he's going up. Watch your negatives. 6 is positive up there. Remember, this is your A, your B, your AX squared plus BX plus C. So it is positive up there, so it's gonna be -6 up here. Over 6, I believe, is that correct? -1, so I'm gonna go ahead and sketch that in. And then I'm gonna label that X equals -1 is your axis of symmetry. I'm ready for my vertex, I already have half of it done. I warned you, be very, very careful with negatives when you plug it back in. So when we plug that in, we're gonna have X squared, so that's negative times negative, which would be positive, right? That's +3, then we're gonna have what? -6. -6, +3 minus 6 would give me -3. -5 gives me what? -8 is the guy. I'm gonna change my color here because we wanna get that spot right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Way down there. -1, -8 is your vertex. D, what are we finding? Always 0, always C, what is it? -5. It's my new point. Now, be careful here. This is on the y-axis, this is the y-intercept. So many times students try to make a spot on the dotted line, which is our axis of symmetry, but it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 0, -5. My symmetry point right here is going to be, any takers? -2, -5, symmetry. We know this parabola opens up, going through those points. That didn't go through that point too good. There we have it. So this is E, our graph from yesterday. Now today's. What is it? F, is it a max or a minimum? Okay, it's a minimum down here. And my y value there is y equals -8. I'm down to my last thing, which was F, domain X such that X is an element of the reals. You can write it like that. It's a little quicker and simpler than writing it out. You can write it out too. Does that make sense to you? X is an element of the reals. And then finally, my range is going to be y such that, what does y need to be? Greater than or equal to, what is my value here? -8. That's a lot of parts. We have one more part to get. What's our last part we're gonna work on next week? The intercepts, which will be these guys right here. How do we get that? Factoring. And we'll work on that next week. I know. How we finding everybody okay about pieces, parts of a parabola? Now, tonight, you don't have to do all that part. There's a couple of problems. All I want you to do is do max and min. And what that is, so you're still gonna have to find the axis of symmetry, plug it in to get the y value at the vertex. Do you understand that? Still gonna do that part. Then tell me the domain and range. We already know of the domain. Every one of them's gonna be what? Every domain of every problem tonight is gonna be what? All the reals.
Oh.
The reals.
So we're just doing B, E, S, and B.
It should be yes. It's not yes.
You're gonna find max or a min and the y value there, so you gotta find the vertex. And you're gonna tell me domain and range. And you gotta find the vertex and tell me the range too. So to find the vertex, you still gotta go get the axis of symmetry. All right, is everybody good?
Yeah.
Thank you much.
I don't know what that is.